the BOE, and especially its governor, has been at pains of trying to remain as neutral as possible when it comes to giving an indication of Brexit. I mean, do they really need a cut, or is it just a way of saying, you know, the economy is under severe stress?
Yeah, I mean, I think given that our central case has to be some type of extension, I think we can debate off camera how many extensions the UK will need to remain as confused as we are today from the politics going on in the House of Parliament. But I think the bond markets in the gilt markets are telling basically the world that the UK is heading towards a depression. If you look at 50-year yields, you know, we're now down at levels that we have not seen for a very, very, very long time. And therefore, I think that the Bank of England has to see, given that they will get no political help, they have to see what they can potentially do to support what could be a very, very seriously recessionary environment in the next few months, if not quarters.
But Neil, you know, given what we're seeing right now, would it warrant, and you know, does it actually warrant a cut? Because you see pound volatility and inflation actually being quite high, especially if you're going to have tariffs when you import things.
Well, I think it's a very good question. I think many central banks are going to have to weigh the effectiveness of monetary policy against potentially the rising of inflation because of the weakness of many currencies around the world, which Australia and Canada could be others that will face this type of challenge. But in the short term, they're not going to see any other offsetting growth. You know, no one is expecting investment or employment to start growing in the UK if we see further extensions to the Brexit calendar. So I'm not surprised when one reads many of the polls here in the UK that people just want a decision. Are we leaving or are we staying? But let's just get on with it because the uncertainty is now killing the economy.
Neil, well, the uncertainty is the man of September, and many would say that is Sir John Major, the former Prime Minister. Let's bring up a chart which spans the John Major career. In the lower left corner is the debacle of weak sterling in 1992-3, Thatcher to Major, and then up we go, the miracle pound, down we go. And over in the right-hand corner, we have returned to the 2019 John Major, which Neil Dwane is a shockingly weak trade-weighted sterling. What is the wealth destruction in this United Kingdom?
Well, I think, Tom, the way I would answer that is I think the wealth destruction with the pound where it at the moment is one of fear. I think clearly the pound is beginning to price in either another hung parliament or a change in administration towards a Labour-led administration kept in power by the Scottish nationalists, so long as that we have a second independence vote for Scotland, which would obviously tear apart the union. So I think there are concerns emerging about where the politics may go in the next 3 to 6 months, which are not explicitly being talked about in the political media because they're focused on the difficulties of the current administration and the Brexit chaos and what happens from a European perspective.